Knowledge isn't power. And I say this from personal experience because back in about grade 10, grade 11, I was in a bit of a rut. I wasn't living that much of a good life, and I wasn't really proud of the human that I was. But I discovered self improvement relatively recently around that time period, so I wanted to make my life better. I was committed to getting better each and every single day, working towards growth as an individual. And one of the topics, one of the fears that I wanted to face was my insecurity around other people, especially women. To be a more confident guy who could go up to other people and not feel terrible when trying to talk to them. To not feel like I had to stutter every single time I opened my mouth. To not feel like I was insecure no matter what I did or who I spoke to. I wanted to feel confident for once. So I asked my friend about this. I asked him for a bit of help on this topic. And he gave me a book. He told me, read this book by Mark Manson. It was called Models: How to Attract Women Through Honesty. I still recommend that book. I still think it's a great book. But in that time period, when I read it, what ended up happening was my mind was blown. This guy was distilling truths into a little compact book about basically like how to change your life, how to become a more vulnerable person, living a true life to yourself. And it was one of the greatest books I've ever read. But for all the information that I got, all the new know-how I had in my brain, when it came to actually taking action, what I chose to do instead of taking action was convince myself I need to learn more, that I needed more knowledge before I could truly take action to be a better person. And you may see where this is going because that was just a never-ending cycle for years on end. Instead of facing my fears, I subscribed to the idea that knowledge is power, that the more I knew, the better off I would be, that the more I knew, the more power I held within my mind, when in reality, the knowledge was completely useless. Right? It was great to learn about, it was great to have in my mind, but when it came to taking action, if it never got used, it was just collecting dust up there. I wasn't doing anything with it, and as a result, it just made me feel more guilty about myself. It made me feel like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, because I wasn't, right? Like, I genuinely was not taking action. And so, instead of helping me, the knowledge just became a burden. And looking back on it, knowledge, me learning all those things, reading all the books, it was just a convenient excuse. A way for me to tell myself, hey, I'm doing my best here. I'm working hard. I'm actually doing something and I'm making progress. I know I haven't spoken to anyone yet, but I'm preparing, getting ready. I'm learning more and more and more so that when it comes down to actually taking the action, I'll be ready. I'll be confident. I won't feel nervous or anything. And all of that just turned out to be false because knowledge that I've learned now, like knowledge is just a way to guide you. It kind of shows you the road you could take, the straight path from point A to point B. That is what knowledge does. But knowledge doesn't make you actually walk the road. Knowledge doesn't take you from point A to point B. You still have to do the effort yourself. So this year, I tried that. Instead of trying to focus on reading as many books as possible to become better at talking to people, at being the best, most prepared person of all time, I told myself, look, you're awkward. You're not good at talking to people yet. So what you're going to do is you're going to be as awkward as you humanly can be whenever you talk to anyone. You're going to go get rejected by as many people as you possibly can so that you get over it, you get used to it, and you'll gradually develop the skills as you go ahead and do it. Right? That's what I thought in my mind. And so I didn't read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I didn't read Models by Mark Manson. I just went outside and spoke to people. I spoke to them at the bus stop, at the gym, at track practice, everywhere I could. And do you know what happened? I improved at my conversational abilities. I'm not perfect. I still have a long ways to go. But right now, I can sit here and tell you, I have spoken to enough people. I've spoken to like 500 people, and it feels good. I genuinely gained the experience. I gained the insight on how to speak to other people. And it's amazing. Right? I feel good. I feel like I actually made progress. The thing is, I read a few books during that time period. I did read How to Win Friends and Influence People, but it wasn't reading it from cover to cover to understand how do I speak to people? How do I put myself out there? It was more looking for little tidbits to understand. I'm struggling with this piece of my conversational abilities right now. I'm struggling with this piece of my social skills. Maybe this book has an answer for me. And so in that way, the knowledge just guided me back on the proper path. It guided me on my course of action, but it didn't tell me this is what you should be doing. This is how you should be doing it. Do this, do this, do this in this order. Like, the experience is enough. If you just took action and committed to a growth mindset, that is all it takes. Literally. Knowledge will help you, but it is not the be all end all. And that's what I personally think on the matter. So if you're struggling to talk to new people, if you're struggling to talk to girls, or if you have some fears within your life, make a plan, figure out how to take action, and read and learn and gain knowledge in the areas you don't know what to do. Because when the emphasis is on action and using knowledge as just like supplementary like guidance along the path, you will make so much more progress. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you like this content. Remember, knowledge is not power. Peace.